Hey, and welcome back, everyone. In these times of COVID-19, certainly it's important to take care of ourselves and to be safe. And as I mentioned in the opening disclaimer, nothing I'm presenting in this video is intended to give you professional safety advice in terms of personal protective equipment to protect yourself against COVID-19. Certainly do the investigation on your own based on your local conditions, the spread of the virus, your own family situation in terms of whether or not you have any individuals in the household who maybe are at greater risk. But today I'm introducing the O2 mask, and this is a new mask that I discovered that is made in Canada. And I discovered this mask because I was getting a little tired, as I'll talk about later, of wearing my N95 respirator. And in fact, I'm calling this a mask, and they make very clear points on the website, as we'll talk about later, to call this a respirator, and they distinguish between a respirator and a mask. So when I discovered the O2, I looked at this, which was the level of filtration in terms of the efficiency and how many microns. The mask is rated, the O2 curve or mask or respirator is rated at 0.1 microns, and this gives you a sense of what different masks are rated at. And there's certainly a long conversation to be had about safety of masks, and CDC and other health agency recommendations relative to COVID seem to change weekly. So be sure to check out your important sites on the internet that are scientifically and medically based sites to get the most current information. So I discovered the O2 mask because I was looking for a respirator or mask that would protect me from obviously COVID-19, a mask that would also fit well in terms of the comfort level, because a lot of the masks I've been wearing in the past are really difficult to breathe in. They can cause a lot of sweating around your nose and mouth. And of course, there's a fogging issue with glasses or sunglasses that many of us wear. So I was interested in a number of different factors when I started to investigate the O2. And I just started with a Google search, and I came across this company based in Canada, and I thought, certainly, let's give this mask a shot and see if it's worth its price. And one thing I will say about it, as we'll discover in a little bit here looking at the website, is that the mask is upwards of $70, and the final price is based on a couple of factors. The number of filters, which are the replaceable elements that you put just under the hard shell here, the O2 mask. And then you also have some choices in terms of customization. So in my case, I paid a little bit extra to get a black cover, which allowed me to distinguish my mask from the mask that my wife wears. And it comes stock with a white plastic cover, and it's totally usable if you decide to go with the stock cover. Pretty easy to use, as I'll get into later. It does take a little bit of time to learn once you unpack it and pull it out of the box and try to mess with it and put the filters in. There also is an option for a sports clip, which I didn't see as particularly necessary in terms of my use. There are two types of masks that they sell on the website. We'll check this out later. One is for a high, one is for a low nose bridge. So it would be important to determine as best as possible where you fall in terms of that category of high or low nose bridge. So in the video today, we're going to start with an introduction to the O2 Curve respirator. I will do an official unboxing. I will open the package and show you what you get inside. I'll take you through the components, and you're seeing those here. So we have the respirators, which come in those large boxes on the left. We have an instruction manual. You're seeing the white stock surface of the respirator. Filters on the left there. And then in the middle, you see the black cap that I put on top of my respirator, and there's also an instruction manual, which is pretty helpful. And if you choose, you can click on the QR code with your phone and also read the instructions on the internet and watch some helpful tutorial videos from the company. And as I mentioned to you earlier, I was using some masks before I got the O2, starting with the N95, which is an old mask that actually broke for me. I could fix it, but one of the elastic straps broke off. This was used in my shop just for my tools and equipment to protect from dust. I've also used a cloth mask like this one. My fear with this one was always, is it covering enough of my nose and my mouth? And that's what I like about the solid fit of the O2 respirator. You can also buy these at Costco. These are the surgical style masks. They're disposable, one-use only masks. And you can, of course, get a face shield. And I've noticed recently going into stores that face shields are a little more popular with customers and with workers in stores. In some cases, I've actually seen people wearing both. So again, make your own decisions, do your own safety checks, and investigate to see which mask is going to work the best for you or other form of personal protective equipment. And this is me in that old N95 mask. As you can see on my ear, it's pulling up a lot on my ear. There still is some pressure that you will feel with the O2 Curve respirator, but I feel like it's a much tighter fit and a more comfortable fit. And you can see here, it's just a little more form-fitting with 4 straps. There's surgical grade silicone that also really creates a very tight seal that for me feels very airtight and very safe and comfortable. So we'll start with the package here. So I ordered it on the internet. We'll look at the website a little bit later. Just go to the O2 Canada website. And I got it very quickly. I would say about a week. The order was recognized or acknowledged within a day, and then it shipped out, I think, the next day or the day after. So very fast. Now, I'll open up the package of the mask itself, the respirator itself, but these are the additional filters. You can buy 5 of those, and those run for $7.99, so they don't seem super expensive. I ended up buying 50 of these. The life of the mask filter will vary from use, depends on maybe where you're using it, how often, but anywhere between 1 and 2 weeks, they recommend changing the filter. I read today on the O2 site that they're investigating whether or not in the future they could create washable ones or come up with a system for washing these filters. Right now, just like those Costco triple ply surgical style masks, they're disposable. They do recommend that you dispose of them after their use, that period of time. And you'll have to investigate on your own how long you'll wear it and the use and so forth. This is the package of the clip-on respirator cover. Comes in 3 different colors that you can check out online. And this is the box itself that you see, and it has the information on the back, and it talks a little bit about the mask and the kind of protection afforded. And one of the things that I enjoy about this mask, in addition to the safety of it, is I enjoy the fact that it often will take out harsh smells in some environments. It kind of depends, of course, on where you're using the mask, but it will filter other things out, including pollen, because pollen tends to be, or is, a larger size than, say, a virus like COVID-19, of course. So we'll open one of the boxes here, and I've been trying to use my Costco gloves here just to be safe when I'm changing masks. You might have your own techniques. I like to use gloves in the car if I'm making multiple trips to a store, and then I can take the gloves off, use hand sanitizer, then remove my O2 Curve respirator, put it in its carrying pouch, which we'll look at later, and then if I have another stop at another store, I can put some additional gloves on after I remove the mask and so forth. So this is showing you inside the box. This is what you will receive. So not that we care about graphic design and packaging in the time of COVID, when we're probably more concerned about safety, security, and protecting ourselves and our family and loved ones from infection from the virus. But it is a well-designed product. It looks really nice in terms of the design of it, the graphics, the branding, the logos, the packaging itself, very high quality. So it's one of those things that when you get it, it's not going to feel cheap or anything like that, which is good, because again, the one caveat on the O2 respirator is that it has a fairly high price of $70 plus the other features that you might buy to customize it, additional filters and things of that nature. For me, it's a good investment. We're here in 2020 in August, and we don't know certainly if and when a vaccine will appear for COVID-19. So I'm hoping that the mask will definitely pay for itself in terms of safety as well as comfort. For me, safety is number one in terms of the factors of buying a mask or respirator. Perhaps it's your number one factor too. Second would be comfort. So this is the instruction manual that you'll see when you open up the package, and it's very detailed, easy to read. This is the mask or respirator itself, and you just see the box there, what to expect. And I realize I keep saying mask versus respirator. I'll keep messing up on that, but you get the idea. We're not going to get caught up on the technicalities of the differences between a mask and respirator. Now, if you get your mask or respirator, you'll get 3 of those filters in the package. So they're individually wrapped. So 3 of those, which will last you, depending on use, anywhere between 3 and perhaps 6 or 7 weeks. Just depends on the use. This shows you the packaging, and we're looking here again at the stock white plastic cup. It's very well made, as I've said. The plastic feels really firm. The carrying bag, which you see on the table there, is also really nice and handy for safety. Right there is your QR code, so if you want to, just get out your phone, take the picture, and go to the website for instructions. There's the carrying case or bag, and here is the actual respirator itself. You see the straps. There is some significant adjustment that does need to take place, and once you get that adjustment going, then you'll be probably in pretty good shape. And then you can see here the inside of the mask, and that is where the filter will be sitting, as you'll see in a little bit. And since I've been talking about the options, these are the 3 colors you can choose from: black, blue, or red, and they all run $12.99. So again, if you have a family member and you want to distinguish yours from theirs, might be a good option. I don't have any of these accessories, so you're on your own in terms of whether you might want to purchase those and what kind of needs you have. Here are those filter packs, so $7.99 for a 5-pack. You can certainly stock up and purchase as many as you need. It is certainly a cost of this mask. This talks a little bit about just what the filters are like in terms of the filtration levels and how they trap pollutants found in pollution as well as bacteria and diseases. And here's the mask itself. So $69.99 is the base price. For high bridge or low bridge, exact same price for either. So if you're ordering an O2 mask, you can go online and decide on any of the customization elements. Again, for me, I did get this. It was $12.99. I thought, easy way to distinguish my mask from my wife's mask. As you'll see later in the video, one challenge with the O2 when you first get it is getting it just right in terms of the strap adjustments. There are some videos online, but I discovered those were for a previous version of the mask. So I think it will take some experimentation and working with it. Over time, you'll be able to do those adjustments, and then you won't have to do them later on. But the initial use of the mask, certainly you want to give yourself a half an hour to 40 minutes to unpackage it, set it up, put in your new filter, and figure out the earpieces and the straps to get the kind of custom fit that you want. Okay, and we can look at the cover for the respirator just to get a sense of what you're getting into if you decide to purchase one of these. Again, I think the look of the O2 mask is pretty nice. It has a nice look to it aesthetically. Not that that's maybe super important to you in these times in which we're thinking about COVID-19 and protecting ourselves. And so here you can see I did take the cover off the respirator. It takes a little bit of figuring out. You could either look online for information or use your instruction manual. You put some pressure on that covering and it comes off fairly easily, but it does take a little bit of time just to learn that technique to remove it. The same can be said when you're putting it back on after you're trying to put on a new cover or change the filter perhaps. So you're getting a better look at the guts of the mask just to see what it's like, the respirator, and then that is that cover that I'm putting on. I fussed with it for a little bit. It wasn't intuitive to me, but it does fit on those grooves, and you have to press down. You will hear an audible click on each of the 2 sides when you do this. And the instructions are pretty good about this. It just takes a little bit of time to figure it out, but as you can see there, it didn't take me too much time to get that on. And then I'm done with that part of the respirator. Again, if you want a red one, a blue one, a black one, a white one, you could have 4 different colors, and that would allow you to differentiate each mask from your family members. You could come up with another way as well. to put a sticker on it or something that would give you that ability to personalize it. But the reason you need to do that is not just for safety purposes, but also just for customization, because the fit of the mask is not one size fits all as we might expect with some of the other masks or PPEs that we're purchasing online. These are the very detailed instructions, and so I was using these because I wanted to figure out how exactly do I put a filter in. So I'll take you through that process here. Okay, so you're going to take one of your filter packets and just tear it open. Again, you can make a decision here. I used soap and water and wash my hands. You could also put it on with gloves. You would want to, of course, protect the filter itself just from contaminants, just to be certain. And now I'll show you how to attach it. And I messed this up the first time. You attach it to the cover, and you'll see those slots on the bottom and sides of the faceplate. And those are very important because that is where the filters fit. And they fit almost perfectly. It's a really good design. It doesn't take a lot of figuring out. You just simply, as I'm showing you there, make sure it's flush with the bottom. And then you'll do the two other sides. And it's designed in such a way then that it'll fit really nicely, snug and secure. And once I get it established in there, I will show you it in the camera, and that way you'll see from the opposite side some white peeking through, which of course is the filter that I have placed inside the covering here. And so once it's done, it's really secure. I think I'll shake it here for you just so you can see. It's not going to come out. So it's very sturdy in terms of staying in there. And that's one of the things I like about the O2 is the fact that it does have a very nice fit in terms of the filter. And then the medical grade silicone, which lines the respirator, is also very secure and creates an airtight seal and is comfortable as well. So for me, those are important factors in terms of choosing a mask here like the O2 Curve respirator. Once we're done with the filter, we're going to reverse those steps that we did before. So we looked at removing the white faceplate and putting on the black one. We'll just do the same thing again. I did notice it was a little trickier the second time around, maybe because the filter is in there, but you're going to want to hear the same thing. Hear those snaps, those little pops on the two sides of the respirator. Once you hear those, you'll know that it is indeed secure. And as we did with the filter, we can look at the fact that it's secure. It's not going to fall off once you stick it on there. Getting a sense of just what it looks like. So you can see it has respiration ports on the left and the right side. And then you can, when you're done with this, stick it in the carrying bag. What I like to do is after I've run an errand and I'm still in the car again, making sure I have sanitized hands or taking off gloves that were maybe contaminated in a store, I will put it in the pouch, and then I remove it again with clean hands, put it on if I'm running a second errand. So just really important to remember those procedures in terms of trying to minimize any possible contamination with your mask when you're using it going to and from the store. One disadvantage of a mask like this as compared to a disposable one or a washable one is that you have to be very careful about cross-contamination from your hands or other parts of your body on the respirator or its surfaces. And again, if you want more information, you can click on the QR code and that will pull up the website. Speaking of the website, it might be a good opportunity now just to take a look at the O2 website to see what you're getting into if you're interested in looking for your own O2 Curve respirator. So let's take a look at that now. Okay, so here's the O2 Canada website, and this is what you would expect to see from a company that sells respirators, and they just mainly sell these respirators from what I can tell. So you can click on the products page to look at any of those products that we already talked about, ranging from the faceplate color, covers, filters, the respirators themselves, and any other accessories. And again, very limited in terms of what they sell, but I think it probably makes sense in terms of trying to really focus on this particular market. You can also see they're selling 10 packs of filters now. I don't think those were available maybe when I was purchasing my respirator. I probably would have gotten some of the 10 packs instead since it's a little bit of a better deal. So you can also look at the high bridge face distinction and the low bridge face if you're curious about that. If you click on resources, you can click on the instruction manual and learn more about the respirator, how to put it on and all that stuff, as well as the how-to videos which show you the different features. And the one on the filter I think is particularly useful, just going through how the filter is changed, and it's going through some of the same steps that I talked about earlier in this video. And I do recommend if you click on the FAQs, the frequently asked questions, a lot of good information about shipping and practical stuff. Where do they ship to? How much is the shipping? And then this is kind of key. This was what I was talking about earlier, the difference between a respirator and a mask. And then this issue of what's an N95 respirator and what's the distinction, and is the O2 curve respirator as good as an N95? According to what they've indicated on their website, and you'll find that, by the way, some of the studies, if you click on this study here, this is the study I referred to earlier from the University of Waterloo, showing the micron filtration. So again, this is the O2 versus the N95. Now, that being said, as they point out in the FAQs, there is some sort of technical distinction about how testing for an N95 is done, and this talks about the class 1 versus class 2 medical devices. So again, please look at all that on your own, and you can look at some of the studies and see if the O2 curve respirator will meet your needs in terms of protecting against viruses and bacteria. And this shows you the independent lab testing. And I think everybody in the game right now is probably saying there's no guarantee that any PPE will protect you against COVID for legal reasons, but also scientific and medical reasons. There's a lot we don't know about the virus yet. As a result, directions about using masks, respirators, PPEs, or other forms of safety and protection against COVID-19 can and perhaps will change in the future. So do your due diligence and be sure to check out all the information available. So that is the website here. Let me close the video today with an overview of my impressions of the O2 curve respirator since I've been using it now for over 2 weeks since I purchased it. Okay, so you're seeing the mask on here. You're probably not hearing my voice all that great, so I'll take it off in a second, I promise. I just wanted to show you, though, that it's a super secure, I'm trying to use this second camera, super secure fit on your face. It really, you can really feel with that silicone a tight seal. I never felt it with my N95 mask as an example, and you can probably see that. Also, if I breathe, looks totally silly but effective to see visually. You also get that sense of how it creates a cup, a very airtight seal. Again, the breathing vents are on the bottom here. You're seeing the filter just behind the black faceplate. I didn't go through the mask adjustment, but good to mention this. And if I take off the mask, magically you can hear me. I will say one thing about the curve respirator is that it is really hard to talk in. It's definitely not as good of a mask to talk in as compared with some of the other masks I've been wearing. Not that that matters too much. I usually try to keep conversations at the grocery short if possible. But the adjustment on the mask, just be sure to read the manual carefully, look at some of those videos if they're current. What you have to do is pull on both this side here and this side. If you remove the mask, the faceplate cover on the mask, you're actually going to see this just forms a continuous band across here. So you're just pulling on this and pulling on this, and then also adjusting this strap here. And I always struggle with these particular straps, but it is a one of those that you kind of just adjust according to the length that you want. What I recommend is making all those adjustments. So 4 different places, the 2 straps here, pulling on each end, and then also adjusting that top loop part. Once you do that, you can see if it fits nicely on your ears. Put the mask on. And then hopefully it has that nice tight fit that we were talking about earlier when I was sort of doing the sample breathing. So I think that's it as far as the practicality of the mask. I did want to show you a little bit of what it looks like just on a human face. For me, to sum up the mask, I would say, yes, it is the most expensive of a lot of the options out there. I know you can't even get N95s. I don't think they're on the market. Perhaps medical professionals can. So the price of this respirator is certainly higher than most. You have to take that into account. The main difference I noted was if I'm wearing my N95, I was sweating a lot more around this portion of my face, almost like right beneath the mask itself. Whereas with this, I'm not noticing a lot of sweat. My glasses also have never fogged up, whereas with my N95, my other masks, I would get a lot of fogging up on my sunglasses and reading glasses if I wore those out. So that's also a big benefit. The other thing I'll say is when I'm breathing in the respirator, it's a very natural breathing. When I was using my N95, I was doing a lot of breathing out of my mouth. I'm not sure why that's the case. So it felt very uncomfortable, and sometimes I did feel a little short on breath. Whereas if I'm using the Curve respirator, I'm breathing naturally for the most part. A couple occasions, if I'm maybe moving through the parking lot, there's some mouth breathing, but mostly I'm breathing through my nose. So that part I really like about the Curve respirator as well. So it's, of course, like all things, it's up to you. It's your call if you want to go with one of these masks or respirators, as they call them. I think it's been a great addition just to my personal protection equipment that I take with me. I take this mask everywhere. I always put it back in its case to keep it nice and clean. I also try to use sanitizing wipes to wipe the surfaces, which, by the way, they mention on the website, will be safe and protected if you wipe these surfaces down. So it's a call up to you, of course, but for me, it's a great buy because it's a mask that is hopefully keeping me safe and is also super comfortable to wear. I do recommend it for the comfort levels. I recommend it for breathability, for not fogging up your glasses, for allowing you to breathe naturally, for creating an airtight seal on your face. Two disadvantages I would see. One would be the price, which for me is not a big deal right now because it's a small price to pay for safety and comfort. And the second disadvantage is, as I mentioned, the talking part. When you heard me talking through this mask, very hard to understand me, but that could be the case with a lot of masks or respirators. So that's it today, looking here at the O2 Curve respirator. If you're interested in this mask, you can check out reviews online. You can read more of the scientific information, medical information. Go to the company's website if you choose to purchase a mask. The company did not in any way support this video. I'm just doing it as a public service opportunity to give you some advice potentially on a respirator out there that maybe could work for you in the future. So stay safe in these times of COVID-19 and come back for additional videos here in the future.